How we doing? How we doing? This is Destination Denver, Colorado, and what better way to prepare for your impending 2025 move to Denver, Colorado than to discuss the best and worst suburbs that this city has to offer, and we're starting right now. All right, this is Destination Denver, Colorado. I'm your host, Jimmy Everson. Listen, if you're interested in learning all the ins and outs, pros and cons, moving to or around the Denver metro or Front Range area, then this is the channel for you. So that subscribe button and notification icon you see on your screen, make sure you click on that as I'm dropping new videos for you each and every week. And as much as I try to be a little informative here on camera, I'm also a licensed mortgage broker covering the entire state of Colorado and team with some of the state's most talented realtors. And we're helping people move here each and every day. So the number and email you see on your screen, know that I am always the person. Answer your phone calls, answer your texts, answer your emails. There, winning if you need me. Now that we're done with that fun-filled stuff, let's get to what we're here for, and that is what are the best and worst suburbs in the Denver metro area. All right, so a few quick things just before we jump into our list. First and foremost, this is a subjective list. We're talking about not necessarily fact and fiction. We're talking about a lot of opinions and perspectives shared by people who live in these communities, friends, colleagues, clients, my own experiences in them. Best and worst is subjective. Some people are going to agree with it, some people aren't. Also, we're taking just kind of a bird's eye view of these communities. I have certain videos that'll be more specific to the communities if you want a deeper dive, but here, just kind of putting them on your radar and you can take it from there. So we begin our best or good list with Parker, Colorado, located southeast of Denver, south of Aurora, roughly a 30 to 45 minute drive from the heart of Denver, depending on traffic. And traffic can get a little backed up with Parker Road. Parker does face that challenge. But some of the key reasons that people enjoy Parker, Colorado, among them, really good schools. You'll hear that time and time again from the people that live in the communities. A lot of friends I have and clients that just rave about the various schools that their kids go to. Second, Parker has, if you've watched any of my videos, that I'm a huge proponent of downtown areas. I like small downtowns in my suburban areas. Parker has one of the best. Main Street, filled with coffee shops, restaurants. You hear a lot of live music, art galleries, etc., and a lot of people moving in and around. A lot of foot traffic. Along with that, you have a community that really does a lot to bring people in. So a lot of different events, Parker Days, Trunk or Treat, things around Christmas, things during July, just a lot, I should say. So really that community aspect. Tied into that, you have a community that's big on trails and outdoor spaces, a lot of parks. For being on the southeastern side of Denver, you still have great mountain views. So you're not terribly far from getting up to the Rockies if you enjoy that, but you have a lot of outdoor activities to do there in Parker. You've got an abundance of great neighborhoods. There's a lot of different communities. A lot of these communities are new-ish as far as build. You have some brand new construction, but you also have some places that are relatively new. But a lot of different variety of homes and community styles. You could be in a neighborhood that is, within walking distance of downtown. You could be, down in an area like the Pinery, which is not technically Parker, where there's some newer construction. You've got multi-million-dollar homes. You've got $300,000, $400,000 condos. It's just got a big variety. And I have to mention, overall crime rates pretty low in Parker. And the refrain you get from a lot of people, the perspective you get is how safe they feel in the community. And I think that that's going to be something you hear in a lot of the communities we're going to talk about, especially on the good or best list, is the fact that these families feel safe. Next up on our list is one of my personal favorites. That's Littleton, Colorado, located south, stretching southwest of Denver. So you could be in an area of Littleton that is 15, 20 minutes from downtown Denver, and then you could be in an area of Littleton that might take you, again, closer to 45 minutes depending on traffic, just if you're in that far southwest corner up near Ken Carroll, areas like that. First and foremost, I mentioned those downtown areas. Littleton has quite possibly my favorite. It's always a toss-up between Arvada and Littleton for me, but downtown, again, Main Street, downtown areas tend to have the same names for the streets. I will just point out that, but around 6 or 7 blocks of shops and cafes and art and a lot of locally owned mom and pop businesses there in downtown Littleton. Just a great community vibe to be around. And I love the neighborhoods right around downtown Littleton. I think it's one of its biggest drawing factors. The location of Littleton is going to be tough to beat. You're close to downtown, you have easy access to the mountains, you're already kind of south, so if you want to head down to, a Castle Rock, a Colorado Springs, you're just in a really good location. Schools in Littleton, overall, Littleton School District, pretty high ratings there, so most perspective I got was people enjoy the school systems. And again, I think that there's a big difference between the areas of Littleton you might live. You could be right near downtown Littleton. You could be as far south as Sterling Ranch, where you're truly in the suburbs. You're probably that 45-minute drive from downtown. You could be a little farther west, areas like Columbine, Beaumar, Ken Carroll, as I mentioned earlier, all great communities, all based in Littleton. And with that, you get, again, that variety of living styles where you could have, I wouldn't necessarily call it an urban feel, but you could be closer to that downtown area and have that style, or you could really embrace the suburb life. And as far as construction, you have homes that were built in the early-ish 1900s or mid-1900s, and then you've got communities that are literally getting finished being built right now. So just that full variety of homes to choose from. So next up on the list, located roughly 30 to 45 minutes south of Denver, is Castle Rock, Colorado. And I'd probably put that closer to 40 to 45 minutes depending on traffic. But regardless, Castle Rock is a growing suburb and one of those communities that I have to say has just changed, humbly, I think, for the better over the years. Castle Rock used to be a little, this little town that you would pass on your way from Denver heading down to Colorado Springs. And now it's really a place of substance. It's got a great downtown area. It's well known for its outlet malls. That's one of the first things you're going to hear about Castle Rock. It has been for decades, is this huge outlet mall area they have filled with shops and all the places you want to go to think you're getting a discount on clothes, and maybe you are. I'm not a shopper. But Castle Rock's also going to be popular, again, for a great downtown area, again, for good schools, again, for being a community that is known for being good for families, and also a community, I think, that just kind of feels close-knit, and it has a small townish feel to it. You have a lot of new construction there, a lot of different neighborhoods, and with that, I mean, you'll see some of the best views. I mean, I think Castle Rock is just a pretty town, and you're kind of in between these valleys and in between these canyons. You also have obviously have the Castle Rock right there, but then getting into the mountains, ton of outdoor activities to do. So Castle Rock is a place that's going to be high on a lot of lists. It's also, if we can use the term affordable in the Denver metro area, one of the more affordable areas. And what we'll find on our side, on the real estate and mortgage side, is a lot of folks who are interested in communities like a Highlands Ranch, a Greenwood Village, a Centennial, they'll go a little farther south into Castle Rock because they get more value for the home that they are purchasing. A couple more on the good list. We head now north, heading a little northeast of Denver. Right between Denver and Boulder is Broomfield. Now, Broomfield is a sizable town. It's its own county as well. And some of the things you're gonna like about it, again, it's gonna be like a skipping record. Good schools, a community that is considered relatively safe. Now, Broomfield's big, so you're gonna wanna look at different areas. A lot of different communities to live in. Broomfield has just some great housing options, and you're talking about different price points, whether you're looking for the starter home or a condo or townhome, or you want some like monstrous gorgeous place next to a golf course. Broomfield has it. Broomfield doesn't quite have the exact same feel that Parker does, but I will say if you go to Broomfield and you go to Parker on a summer day, you do get some of the same vibes. I'll throw out that term. You go to a park, you see a bunch of kids playing baseball, people with their equestrian activities with horses out, and just a fun community. Views for days in Broomfield. You got a lot of, again, we talk about those outdoor activities, the trails, things of that nature. One of the biggest key components of Broomfield is going to be its economic hubs. So Broomfield has its own tech industry boom occurring there along Route 36. And Route 36 is what takes you basically out of Denver on I-25, you hit 36, it goes through Broomfield and then up to Boulder. Along that stretch of 36, a lot of tech companies coming there. So Broomfield is one of those somewhat self-sustained communities, more so I would say than any of the others on my list. And then wrapping up the best of, I would go with Golden, Colorado. And I think that there is just so much to like about Golden. First and foremost, it's just one of the coolest looking towns you're gonna find. So located about 20 minutes west of Denver, maybe a little more if traffic's a little backed up, but you can get to Golden pretty quick up 6th Avenue. Downtown Golden, just the history as you see it. You've got this downtown area, Washington Avenue, just this straight shot. You got the banner, welcome to Golden. You got the mountains behind it. It's like a mountain town, but you're still really close to Denver. Washington Avenue is, again, big proponent of downtown areas. Has a great strip, some of the best places to go. Woody's Pizza, hit it up. They're delicious. Makes me want to eat pizza right now. And then all the other key components. Great neighborhoods, a lot of great things to do. Take people, you need to go inner tubing down Clear Creek Canyon. It's one of my absolute favorite things. My wife and I went and we were enjoying it and also enjoying watching just tons of people come tubing down this river. It's home of the School of Mines, very good schools there in the Golden area. Golden High School, the oldest high school in the state of Colorado, so a little fun fact there. And just a great community. Golden is sometimes nicknamed Baby Boulder. And so I would take that, in many ways, I would take that in a good way. It's very desirable, great mountain community, a lot of different neighborhoods. And to me, if I'm gonna live in Golden, I'm gonna try to be as close to that downtown area. I don't necessarily need to be right along Washington Avenue, but I wanna be close, within 10, 15 minutes of that, because to me, that's where the life of Golden is. Now, I also wanted to give you just a few in-betweens, places that could be considered best, could be considered worse, what have you. So the in-betweens, I start with my own community, Lakewood, Colorado. As much as I love Lakewood, as much as I enjoy living here, there are things to love, there are things that people don't love. So Lakewood, west of Denver, we border Denver, so you could be to Denver in 2 minutes or you could be to Denver in 20, 25 minutes, depending on where you're located. Pros of Lakewood, again, pretty good schools with Jefferson County, great location as far as getting to Denver or getting to the mountains. Some of the negatives, some of the drawbacks to Lakewood. Certain areas have higher crime rates than other areas, and you want to kind of pay attention to that. Because of how big Lakewood is, you're going to see some areas that just get, you can see it, gets a little more love than others. Not a lot of new construction in Lakewood. A lot of our community was built in the 50s, 60s, 70s, and 80s. Really the only new construction hub of Lakewood is over in Solterra, which is kind of the western side of Lakewood. So those are gonna be some of your drawbacks there. Second in between is Aurora, Colorado. Now I know based on the reputation Aurora has, a lot of people are gonna say, no doubt, Aurora's gotta be the worst. And lately, a lot of news stories coming out about Aurora, this and that. Here's the bottom line. Again, when we talk about places that have some positive and have some negative, there are some areas of Aurora that when you do your research, crime's gonna come up high. You're gonna hear issues of safety that may be of concern to you. You're gonna hear that in different areas of Aurora, school ratings can change. The quality of schools, the quality of economic base within Aurora, because you have areas of Aurora where people have money, and the communities are nice, and you have areas that are poverty stricken and a bit in a tougher spot, if you will. But when you look at Aurora, Lakewood's a big suburb. Aurora is massive. You're talking about a town, a city that is bigger, just by geographical mass than Denver itself. So you can't talk about Aurora and not talk about positive factors such as areas like South Shore, Talon's Reach, Blackstone. These are communities near an area, South Shore or the Southlands down in southeast Aurora, among others. There's some great communities within Aurora. So again, one of those areas where you can find some really great areas, and there might be some areas of Aurora that you just don't want to turn into. And last on that list, north of Denver is Westminster. A lot of the same reasons. Again, I got friends there, I have colleagues there, I've helped clients by there. Some great communities, some great neighborhoods, places where, again, people feel safe as can be. They enjoy the amenities, they enjoy the shops, they enjoy the affordability. That's something that drives people towards areas of Lakewood, Aurora, and Westminster is affordability. And then there's also areas of Westminster where, homeless situation can be an issue. Again, that's shared with Aurora and Lakewood. Crime rates might be a bit higher in certain areas. You again have that economic shift where one area may not be as nice or as assisted as others. So something to keep in mind there as far as Westminster. And then the worst, and again, I talk about subjective. To me, the worst communities, I'm not a fan of Commerce City. A lot of people are flocking to Commerce City. There's a ton of new construction there. Affordability tends to be higher in Commerce City. Why am I not a big fan? Commerce City was and in many ways is still a very industrial area. When you drive through it, you get an industrial feel. You're on the east side of town. You're not really in an area where views are going to be a thing. And even with new construction, there's some great communities. I'm just not a huge fan of brand new communities, at least living there right off the bat, because you have your home price, then you've got your property taxes that are extensive because of them. You might have metro taxes as well as that. And the people that live in these brand new communities, one, they have to pay for the brand new community. You're paying for schools, you're paying for police stations that are new, and then they're not established. I like a community that has been around for a while, that has some life to it. And I don't know, I don't get that sense in Commerce City. I don't like the views. I'm not a big fan of the town as a whole. Next up, North Glen. Now, North Glen is due north, up I-25 from Denver. Again, maybe 20 to 30 minutes depending on traffic. North Glen is going to be high on people's list as far as affordability, and sure, there's some great neighborhoods within it. Some of the knocks on North Glen is, again, crime rates can tend to be higher on average. That's not blanketing the entire community, but something you're going to want to pay attention to. Again, I can't emphasize enough. Do your due diligence as far as researching crime within any area you want to live in, because even communities that could quote unquote be perfectly safe might have an uptick in certain regions. So make sure you're keeping an eye on that. North Glen, just a lot of areas that still need to be developed. A lot of communities that just seem, run down. They don't get a lot of love. And then overall, a community that I just don't get a lot of positive feedback in. When I drive around it, it's just not a community that I think oh yeah, I want to live in North Glen. Now, the good thing about this list is that, you got plenty of good, maybe you got a couple bad, and even those have some areas that you might want to consider. And then we certainly have some in between. Like I said, there are people who absolutely love Lakewood, love Aurora, love Westminster, and then there are people who would tell you, I ain't going anywhere near those. I would love to hear your perspective in any community you're thinking about moving to or living in, and that is a perfect opportunity for you to hit me up with a call, with an email, with a text, knowing that I'm always the person handling those. This is Destination Denver, Colorado. I am your host, Jimmy Everett. That was the best and worst suburbs of Denver in 2025. Till I see you next time, peace.